everyone, and welcome back to Higher Max. It has been a whole minute, but you know, there's only a few things that can really get me out of my academic / procrastination cave, and we're back for a drum roll. Love is Blind. We need to talk about this reality TV show that is from Netflix because a lot was going on there. Like, I've been discussing it with anyone. I've literally been talking to my mom and some of my friends about it, and I was like, at this point I should make a video because I am constantly talking about it. Oh, before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into that video. Oh, also follow my social media. Anyways, so how I'm gonna go about this is I want to go through each of the couples. I can't say that I'm equally invested in all the couples. Some of them I'm more invested than others, as you will see. I just want to give you some of my thoughts on some of the couples, what I hope is gonna happen at the reunion next week. I have my fan with me because I'm feeling very warm this afternoon. First of all, Kenny and Kelly, yeah, not in a shady way, I just really wasn't interested in their storyline. I was very surprised when Kelly didn't marry Kenny. I mean, towards the time when she was walking down the aisle, she seemed like she was questioning a lot, but before that, like when they met, they seemed to be so happy. When they got engaged, when they were chilling in Mexico together. Disclaimer, the show was shot in 2018, but it was only released now. So the cool thing about the reunion is that we'll actually get to see if the couples who did get married, if they stayed together almost a year and a half, you know, and the people who didn't, what was the plan. And I have also watched the Entertainment Weekly or Tonight's interviews with some of the couples. So there's a lot of misconceptions, I guess, that were cleared up for me. At the end of the day, this is a reality TV show, so everything has to be taken with a grain of salt, but that's not gonna stop us from having our opinions, you know. So yeah, so Kenny and Kelly, I mean, the only time I was really shook at how pissed Kenny was when the cameras were showing him after he got rejected, but I guess, I mean, he just got rejected in front of his friends and family, but that aside, I don't think he expected it. I don't really feel as if Kelly showed that she was not as invested in their interactions. I mean, we don't get to see everything, but in their interactions, she seemed pretty happy with him. It was only in some of the, what you call those little interview things where they like talk about themselves, when she was by herself near the wedding, that she felt like they weren't compatible. And it wasn't as if, she said it wasn't the emotional compatibility or anything. She said it was the physical compatibility that messed her up, which is interesting considering how touchy-feely and into him she was on the first few days. But maybe that was just pure excitement. Barnett seemed to have been the hot boy of the squad. A lot of people seemed to be into him. He seemed very, in the pods, he seemed very cheerful and stuff, and he was busy choosing between Elsie, Amber, and Miss Jessica, who is Miss Problematic of the show, but we'll get into that. And I mean, yeah, like if you're into people like Barnett, like I guess I can see the appeal for why other people are head over heels, as one would say, for Barnett. He told Elsie he was super interested in her, told Amber he was super interested in her, told Jessica he was considering proposing to her, which she really, Miss Jessica really held on to the fact that he was considering to propose to her, but we were like, okay. I also feel as if during, what part? After, so Barnett and Amber seem to both be super playful people. I mean, I could low-key understand why they were both so interested in each other. It was when Barnett went home that I feel as if we got to know him better as a character. I don't say a character because it's his real life, I guess. But we got to know him a bit more, and he seemed a bit more serious than that was shown in the pods. Another thing with the pods, I'm hoping that, so they did cut and make very few episodes. I mean, I think we only watched about 10 episodes, and so I was getting really weirded out with the way it was edited, in terms of it looked as if people were falling in love in 2.5 seconds, which for people like me, I'm like, that's a bit cringy. I mean, do what you want to do. You came to see if Love is Blind. So I'm not sure if for some of these people, what we saw in a few days was maybe the full 2 weeks. Everything just seems so rushed. Like, we didn't get to see a lot of these relationships progress. But back to Barnett and Amber, when he got back, we realized that Barnett was actually a bit more deeper than he came across. Still, they're not really one of my favorite couples, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't really that invested either in them. When they went to the hometown, Amber seemed, the way that they portrayed Amber is as if she's just some woman who is looking for someone to just take care of her, and she just wanted to sit at home and chill. And even judging her for her stay-at-home mom comments, because I think stay-at-home moms do a lot, but in the sense that they made it seem as if she just wants to chill, doesn't really want to do much with her life, and they made it seem as if the reasons why she wasn't employed prior to that was just because she's some cool girl who just, you know, wants to have fun. Where she really explained in the interview I watched, because first she kind of left like a bitter taste in my mouth, but when I watched the interview with her and Barnett, which I'm guessing means they're still together, she explained that it wasn't that she didn't want to have a job or whatever. She was going through a lot in terms of her mental illness and things like that, and she wasn't just looking for someone to take care of her financially, and she still thinks that being with someone is a partnership. So I was like, okay, that makes sense, because during the show I was like, Amber, are you looking for a partner or someone to take care of you? Which fine, everyone has whatever they're looking for, but that's just the vibe I got from her. So I was like, In the interview, I have to say, Entertainment Tonight or Weekly, whatever, she seemed, which I'll link the interviews to the description box, she seemed way more put together. I'm actually surprised by that. We can't talk about Barnett and Amber without talking about Miss Jessica. How can we not talk about Miss Problematic? I mean, there's a few things that happened this season that were really crazy, but I have to say Jessica was, yes. So Jessica, she was, as I said, initially interested in Mark, as we all got to see, but the girl's kind of cuckoo. Like, not in a, just, she was just interesting in the sense that, yes, she was into Barnett, but then when Barnett basically dumped her for Amber, she went back to Mark. Mark, my boy, why did you let her reject you, and then you took her back, and then you said, oh, you got her in the end? I'm like, did you really? Like, Jessica, to be honest, I think she was never interested in Mark. I think she was trying to force the experiment at we know you're 34, we get it, you've told us 650 times you're 34, we know that Mark is 24 years old, he's 10 years your junior, and then to top all off, it's weird to me that she has an issue with the 10-year age difference between her and Mark. She's really comfortable with the 7-year difference between her and Barnett. So I'm like, is it really the age difference thing, or you just really not into the dude? And the way she kept on bringing up her relationship and their connection she had with Barnett, saying, oh, I didn't know that you would want a woman like Amber, but he chose Amber and he didn't choose you, and it's just a bit awkward. And then you're trying to come back in the end and seem sly and be like, oh, I was never really interested in you. Ma'am, please, can you tell me something that's believable? She was very cringy when it came to Barnett. Even her, when she had a fight with Mark and she was like, oh, what if I was to say to you that I think Barnett is so hot and sexy? Mark, please read the red flags. How are you not, can you not see that this woman is straight up disrespecting you? She's not interested in you. Please, you know, each to their own, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm not trying to hear my significant other telling me about how hot they think someone that they dated that we are still spending time with. You know what I mean? It's just a bit weird, especially when they are saying how they don't see you that way low-key. So I was like a bit weirded out by that. Mark is just, you know, didn't want to read the signs. So many instances where this lady literally was showing you that she wasn't interested, and kudos to you for still pushing through. Okay, another thing that was like another red flag for me. She kept on again talking about this age difference, this age gap that was stressing her out. It wasn't stressing anybody else out. She meets Mark's family. She meets his mom, and his mom says no issue with the age gap. She goes to her friends and they're like, oh, this is like Nick and Priyanka, no issue with the age gap. Thus, Jessica, the only issue is with you, which it is fine. If that's something that's an insecurity of yours, that's fine, but I really feel like she was stringing Mark along. The kicker was obviously the wedding day. I knew this woman was not gonna marry this dude. Like, it's the way she was walking down the aisle was as if she's going to a buffet. Like, she was holding up that dress. She was not, you know, when someone's walking down the aisle, they're taking their time, they're moving slowly to the beat of the music, like to the dun 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 dun, or some people to the, what's that song that they, canon with the violins and stuff. They're moving slow, they're moving with the music. Ma'am literally walked down the aisle like she was in a rush to go somewhere else. She was like, sir, I need to wrap up this whole filming thing so that I can go meet my friends, so we can go have an after party. That's the vibe she was giving. She just walked down that aisle. Mark, like, bless him, he says, there's my wife. I'm sorry, Mark. The heart wants what it wants, and yeah, you can't explain it to yourself sometimes. And so he wanted Miss Jessica, and unfortunately he didn't get her. And I think he dodged a bullet. He dodged a bullet because you don't want to marry someone who doesn't want, because think about this, the amount of stuff she said about him on the show about how she's not feeling it. Imagine now watching it, they've been married for a year and a half, and imagine now watching it, seeing how your partner is just not interested in you. How, if they were married, how do you get through that dialogue? You just don't. Because I'm not trying to watch you embarrass me in front of national TV. I'm sorry. Talk to somebody else, not me. So he dodged the bullet. They both dodged the bullet because they're not meant to be with each other. Next, let's talk about Diamond, Miss Diamond and Carlton. Was Diamond the one who she went on a date and this one man was like, are you a black woman? Which is, how are you going on Love is Blind and you're busy asking people what their race is, what they look like? They just do Tinder, man. Just left and right, if that's what you want to do. Wrong TV show. Do The Bachelor, whatever. Wrong show. But yes, back to Miss Diamond and Carlton. Carlton. I mean, I think his situation was a rough one because how do you know, if he's been burnt in the past, how do you give that sort of information about yourself? But sir, that follow-up conversation with Diamond, he explains to her that he is bi. That follow-up conversation the next day was she told you you're not married to no average bitch and you're busy telling her to put her wig back on because it's always sliding back. So when you're busy calling her beautiful, is that what was going through your mind? Sir, I had to be balanced, y'all. Like, I literally had to rewind when he was busy saying, put your wig, once he said your wig keeps sliding back, your wig keeps sliding back. It's like, this dude's so out of pocket. I just couldn't. That was a moment I was just like, this is a lot, sir. We need to cut the cameras, dead ass. It didn't go well. I didn't expect it to, because I don't think they were planning on understanding each other anyways. I wish he had said this about himself earlier, only because I think if he had said so earlier, he would have found someone who's accepting of all of him and not just parts of him. And he deserves someone, they both do deserve someone who's accepting of all of them, no matter the location of the wig and no matter the sexuality. Next, to the madame that someone sent me a tweet about how Miss Giannina and Damian, how Miss G is auditioning to be in Marriage Story 2, and I concur that is what Miss G was doing, because she gave us a lot of reality gold moments. I have to say, she gave us a lot of good moments. She made me laugh a lot and there was a lot of moments where I was like, I'm stressed, I need to go. Very cringeworthy between her and Damian. I mean, they fought a lot. I expected when they didn't get married, I expected it to be G who said she didn't want to get married and not him. I really didn't expect it to come from him. I thought Damian was more of a pushover. Communication was just a bit to the left all the time. Miss G gave us Runaway Bride, and that moment in the series a good 8.5 out of 10. She said in the interview, okay, this might be a spoiler, I think they're still together, because in the interview both of them were in the interview together, so I'm guessing they're either dating or they're engaged, but they're not married. And in the interview she said she didn't think anyone was following her, she just wanted to get out of the space. I understand that the continuity in the editing was a bit weird because she went outside, she fell in her white dress, but then when she confronts Damian, her dress is clean. So I think she confronts him first and then she runs away. And her mom was busy crying too. I don't know how her mom found her, because apparently Damian tried to run after her, but then he couldn't find her, but her mom did. So, you know, moms always know. G, I don't know, but I'm proud of your performance on this show, and I thank you for a lot of good moments. And last but not least, Lauren and Cameron, my shining stars, let me tell you something, I love those two. At first, I'm not going to lie, at first I was weirded out when these people were busy saying I love you on like day 2, or what we see as day 2. I was just like, we need to slow the roll, we need to slow it down. But they grew on me. I have to say, to me, they were the most compatible couple. They felt so genuine. They talked about the issues that an interracial relationship could face. I felt like they were very honest about it. Mr. Cameron would not stop rapping, and we're proud of him, and he did what has to be done. I love Lauren's dad. I love Lauren's dad. He was so real. He didn't mess around. He's a straight shooter. Pew pew. He didn't have time to go around the block. He said, what are your plans with my daughter? Let's keep it pushing. And he's like, have you ever been in a room full of black people? These are the types of questions that have to be asked. I'm sorry, but they have to be asked. And I think Cameron really handled everything really well. And I know, I don't care what anyone says, I know they're still together because I watched the interview with them too. They looked very good together in terms of the chemistry when they're speaking. And then they both posted photos from their wedding, so I was just like, triple whammy. They are the best couple on the show in terms of, I just think everything 10 out of 10. And you know, they're the king and queen of Love is Blind. I'm not taking anybody's opinion on that because that's what I said. I said what I said about Lauren and Cameron. I really enjoyed them. I have nothing bad to say. I won't lie, at first I was like, what? But as the show went on, the more I was very, very, very in their corner. And I still am. I think for the most part, most of the couples proved that, I don't think that they proved that love is blind. I think they proved that you can make emotional connections blindly. But then, for example, for Kelly and a few others, namely, you know, Miss Jessica, it just wasn't enough. But with Jessica, what would be enough? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves. I really am excited for her to explain herself. I think she needs to tell us the ones and twos about her personality, and she needs to tell us about the way she was edited, because you know, this is reality TV. They have to make a plot and whatever, even though, you know, despite how things are edited, those are the things you said. Hope they make a second season. I like that we have waited so long to do a reunion as well, because I think it really does show us if it worked with the experiment, because they're calling this whole thing an experiment, if it worked. Let me know down below what your thoughts were. If you watched it, if you haven't watched it, watch it, because I mean, this was full of spoilers, but you still want to see the journey. I think the journey is super important. Thank you for watching and coming through. I really, really, really was so excited about this. That's why I had to quickly film. I have lots of content actually. I just had to edit it. I've been lazy and also just strange, but I want to showcase it. But this show made me come out the ashes. I had to come through and I had to tell you all my opinion, and then I want to hear other people's opinions, which is why I'm doing this. But anyways, I hope you all have a good day, a good week, and I will see you soon. Bye.